Hi, welcome back. Sifu Brian Jewell. We're going to cover the next section of the Silam Tao form. This is the longest section within the form, so it can be a little difficult to memorize. I'm going to go through it slow so you have an idea where to go. So, from here, you're going to need Chikimyama. We're going to start off the left side, presses down. 1, 2. We'll bring the hands up, press back, bring the hands up again, press forward. Then we're going to come up, left over right. Notice this hand isn't straight, it's formed like this. Out, then right over left. Come down, almost in like a chopping motion. Scoop up, down, come back, throw the BLG out. Come down, breathe in, punch, punch, down, up, hands over, Hing Sao, pull back. That's the next part of the form. There's a couple things to consider. Different styles are different. In some styles we only come up, they just come back to here. We come a little higher and press. This is one thing that gives us a little flexibility. So a couple things to consider when learning any form in Wing Chun and almost any style of martial art is you learn the movements and then you learn the application. Notice we did the BLG in this section. The BLG is covered in much more detail later on in your Wing Chun training, but we include it in the form just to learn the movement. Also, when we throw the double punch, that also covers learning using both arms at the same time, which is very big in Wing Chun, using both arms at the same time. Also, some people may say there's a hidden technique in there. If you open the palms of the fist, you have the po pai. So that's one way to look at it. When you're training forms, pay attention to the form because your instructor's teaching the form, but if you really practice, you're teaching yourself, you're learning your own body movements and what you can do. Okay, so right now I'm going to go over a few more things from that section of the form. You can throw a punch at me. Block, bong sao, lop sao. Notice with the lop sao, this position is from the form. So you just go through the punch again, block, and I throw the fox sao out, he blocks. I can pull in and punch. Throw again. I can throw a knuckle, throw again. Palm strike. BLG. The point I'm trying to make with this is the hands are kind of like a power tool where you can unscrew the tool and put another tool on. The hand is like the handle. The fist of the hand can be different tools. This is going back to what I was saying earlier about the form, about the double punch. Could also be a po pai. Different techniques. Right now, what I want to demonstrate is one of the techniques I use on the Moog is I go bong sao, tan, and then punch. I don't punch very hard because it's the wood. If I punch real hard, that could hurt my knuckles. I don't have pads up here right now. So, bong, punch, using the same drill, what we talked about earlier, I can do the exact same thing. Bong, tan, palm strike. And that just shows you how, again, you can use the hands in different ways with basically the same technique for the same drill. It depends on what you're practicing and what you want to do to your opponent. Okay, so when you go to a lot of karate schools or kung fu schools, one of the first things they teach you is when somebody grabs your wrist or grabs you by the collar. That's not always going to happen in a fight. Sometimes people are just going to punch you. But it's a good way to start, learning the body movements and learning how to move. Grab me by the shirt collar. In the form, where you come up, there's one that comes up like this. Depending on how his elbows are, that could work. It may not work. Another thing from the form, here into the eyes, that could also work if your fingers are trained, if you've worked your fingers. You could also hurt your fingers if you do that wrong. Another thing I learned a long time ago, and I'm just going to show this isn't from the form, this is kind of one of these fancy moves where you put down, come up, that could work. Now if you have, he went with me though, if you have like a big muscle guy who doesn't go with it, and you can do everything. Grab me again. Sometimes it's just easier to keep it simple. You can just kick or just slap them across. You know, whatever you can do. It doesn't always have to be, movements don't always have to be complicated. Sometimes the simplest thing works the best.